Hello and welcome to the 2021 Out Loud, a Queer and Trans Performance Fest. My name is Heather Barclay, my pronouns are she, they, and I am the LGBTQIA+ coordinator for the UO Women's Center. I am also the coordinator and host of Out Loud. Out Loud is the final event the UO Women's Center hosts every year. The event is lighthearted and fun end to the academic year that uplifts the voices of BIPOC, queer, and trans performers. Tonight we will have 2 comedians performing. The significance of this event goes beyond encouraging queer and trans students to experience radical joy during the end of spring term. Out Loud allows the UO Women's Center to compensate BIPOC, queer, and trans performers for their talent and work in industries that underpay and do not actively support BIPOC and queer and trans performers. Every year, Out Loud has a theme of an animal. This year, that animal is a goldfish. After spending over a year in quarantine, many of us can probably relate to the feeling of living in a fishbowl or a bubble. Also, I have goldfish earrings, which definitely contributed to the decision. This Out Loud is different from most others. While we have typically hosted musicians, this year we have decided to host a comedy show in the hope that after more than a year in existing in what the director of the UO Women's Center, Fatima Marie Pervez, calls a racist dystopian pandemic hellscape, some laughter will benefit us all. I am so excited for this evening. I was hired as the LGBTQIA+ coordinator for the Women's Center this past fall, and tonight marks the very first Out Loud that I will be hosting. I'm excited to be able to present the first Out Loud Queer and Trans Comedy Fest. And to begin the night, let me introduce our first comedian. She is a lover of marshmallows, a picker of flowers, a celebrated feline, an erudite autodidact, a model of poses, and a teller of jokes whose pre-pandemic credits sounded really impressive. Dahlia, Belle.
Hello, everyone. So pleased to be here. I'm pleased to be anywhere at this point. I'm surviving, you're surviving, so we're off to a solid start. So much has changed over the last year, comedy-wise, life-wise, dystopia-wise, you know, lots and lots of changes. One of my dear friends, way back in Wisconsin this past year, she caught a very mild case of COVID. And just this past week, her penis inverted. So this pandemic is very serious. You never know what might happen. They're still doing a lot of research, trying to figure it out. It is pride, of course. Give yourselves a round of applause for being proud of something. I'm sure you have something to be proud of, I hope. I'm proud of so many things. Most of them I shouldn't be proud of, like the marshmallow thing, but let's face it, they're delicious. And also the gayest of snack foods. So I like to stay on brand in all things, including my palate. To be honest, one of the weirdest things that changed for me this past year is I became an elder queer. And I was not prepared. I still feel like a very young woman, but like all of my younger queer friends and colleagues started asking me about Stonewall. And first of all, I was not alive in the 1960s. I did not participate in Stonewall. Also, I was born in the Midwest in the 1980s, so I never heard of Stonewall until I moved out here. So that was very shocking. For years, all Pride meant to me was one day of open cruising in the middle of Wisconsin. That's all it was, and it was great. It still meant a lot to me, and I was so happy that it happens annually, you know, because there's this tradition during Pride of, you know, coming out of your closet, your wardrobe, your vanity chest, whatever it is, wherever you like to hide. You know, you come out during Pride. And for any of us who have ever come out during Pride, you know, it takes a good 7 drafts to get it right. So I was 16 the first time I came out to my mother. And obviously I am a trans woman, but it was the mid 90s, so I thought I was bi. And I, I went to my mom with tears rolling down my face because my family's very religious. I didn't know how she would react. So I approached her while she was braiding her hair or some other stereotypical Black woman activity, because I feared that way her hands would be too occupied to smack me across the face. And I said, Mom, I'm so sorry, but I think I might be bi. And I'll never forget, she took me by the hand, which was terrifying initially, but then she looked me in the eye and she said, Baby, I love you no matter what. So after I tried the whole bi thing, I tried being gay for a little while. But again, I lived in the Midwest, so I actually just came out as isolated. But then I moved out here to the West Coast and I fully embraced the queer label. And I love queer. It's the perfect label, I feel, because it's a lot like being gay, only I can still engage with people of any and every gender imaginable, and it's still gay no matter what. It's just like omni gay. It's like homo pansexual. I don't know. I'm not good at language, but uh, I am good at gay things. That I'm very skilled at. Been practicing for years. I think I got it down almost perfect, really. Um, then I came out as trans in my early 30s. Um, this is like a PBS special. I'm so sorry, everyone. I I am proudly T for T. So that's trans for trans. My partner uses they them pronouns because they don't believe in Jesus, and they do also happen to be non-binary. Personally, I use she her pronouns because I don't like additional conversation. So just cuts it short. That's how I like it. But we do everything together because there's a pandemic, so we can't really go anywhere. But lately, what we've been doing that's really fun, we've been getting fat together. And I know a lot of people have been complaining about their COVID weight, and to each their own. Personally, I love it because now anytime we go in for a hug, if we start doing body rolls, it's like rubbing two babies together. It's adorable. You should try it out. It's amazing. It brings us closer together because like we can also fold into one another. Just that's the true embrace. That's why they're called love handles, everyone. Love it, handle it, embrace it, gain it. That's my new motto. I'm going to put it on pillows. They're going to cost way too much, I promise you. Uh, but we do everything together. And being locked inside, I used to always think there was a never ending expanse of music, right? Like you could never hear all of the music recorded. It seemed impossible to me. And it turns out that's not true. We listen to all of the music. At this point, we've actually broken down and just started listening to like old prison chants. And I understand that in this day and age that might seem a little macabre, but I promise you some of those chants really slap. They do. They are dope. And you know why? Because those chants were written by Black people, and Black people make everything better. Think about it. White people gave us oppression and we made that look so dope. You now want it back. That's amazing. Like, how do you, that is mastery. Seeing which the other night we were sitting around sipping 40s, smoking, listening to Stevie Wonder, because Black love, and it hit me like, what happened to all the glockenspiel players from the great soul groups of the 60s and 70s? Now, I understand some of you might not understand that joke because you're not true music fans like myself. I have personally spent upwards of 24 hours of my life listening to the isolated air horn track on dancehall albums. That is true love of music and the auditory arts. It could be that, or it could be because the instrument I kept identifying as a glockenspiel is actually a flute. But it's one of those two reasons. Uh, sure of it. My partner and I, we are also polyamorous because we're millennials, and uh, it's nice being polyamorous. You get to be honest. Although in our case, it's really just a euphemism for monogamy. It's very hard to date during a pandemic, in case no one noticed. I've discovered that only two types of men date during a pandemic, and both are serial killers. So just not really my type. I do have standards, believe it or not. Because of my high standards for men, some people assume that I hate men, which is not true at all. I do not hate men. It's just everything they do and say. It's just that, like, if they wouldn't share their opinions, they're marvelous. They're so sweet to look at. I'm just looking for a nice, charming man with bright, kind eyes and a very, very soft voice. That's all I'm really looking for. Uh, Pronouns are important to me, of course. They should be important to anyone, I feel. My pronouns are very important to me in certain situations. Like if a man is going to flirt with me, he has to get it right 100% of the time. I think that is a reasonable bare minimum. However, when my bill collectors call, they can use any pronoun they want and I still won't pay them. So that's just a joke I wrote to prove that trans women do understand nuance. It's fun doing comedy as a trans woman because I really like pushing boulders uphill. That's really, I just don't like easy successes. Like I wanted to be cute when I was a kid, killed it, but getting men to shut up, that's much harder. I found out. But I'm making the most of it. People sometimes get surprised to find out that I do have a child. And one of my favorite questions to answer, people will actually ask me, how? How did that happen? And it's very important, I feel, for everyone to understand that human sexuality is extremely complex. And in my early 20s, I owned a futon and kept condoms in a different room. And that's where babies come from. That's not even a joke, it's just science. Just sharing facts tonight, folks. My kid's other mom, though, we're no longer together. And we do have a very positive relationship, though she is a very fascinating person to me. And what fascinates me is that she doesn't know she's a lesbian. And that fascinates me because after 10 years of marriage to me, one of the reasons she filed for divorce was my ambiguous sexuality, which is fair. But then fast forward a few years later, and the person for whom she left me also came out as a trans woman. Now, obviously, I'm not saying my ex is going around turning people transgender. It does not work that way. However, I am extremely petty and I want her to think it is. So if y'all could just help me spread this rumor, you're college students, you're the best ones. If you say it, it's true. Uh, it's nice having a kid and a family and all that. It makes me feel very heterosexual. Not at all. It does not. uh, because my partner, we do have a lot in common. Obviously, you know, we have similar genders, similar body types, identical faces. Um, but if you can't love your clone, who can you love, right? I mean, you're kind of messing it up, folks. But uh, you know, we do have all these things in common, but we do also have our fundamental differences. For example, I am a mab, whereas my partner is a fab. In other words, I was assumed to be a boy when I was born, whereas my partner was assumed to be a girl when they were born. In other words, we're very easily mistaken for a heterosexual couple, except that our relationship confuses the hell out of heterosexuals, which makes it just that much better for us. Like anytime we go out for dinner, we can just cheers and laugh and laugh and laugh at the confusion. The bewilderment, really. It's like going to the zoo and like tapping on aquariums. Uh, Maybe I shouldn't compare straight people to goldfish. That seems mean, but that's our theme. So I get away with it tonight. I do love the cis. And sometimes it seems like I make fun of them a lot, and I do want to apologize for that. It's just because they deserve it. Um, but male privilege is not isolated to cisgender people. There's plenty of male privilege within the trans community as well. And I think the strongest example of this is if we choose to undergo hormone replacement treatments. Because for the first 3 years of my transition, I took 3 pills every single day. The average trans mass person will take one drug once a week, testosterone. They'll get the facial hair, the muscles, the voice, the body odor, all the benchmarks of masculinity. Trans women, on the other hand, three pills every single day for an A cup and erectile dysfunction. That is not an equal rate of return at all. That is bad economics, but it works for me. I just like to remind men of all walks of life of their privilege, and then say really fancy things like, so you should make out with me to balance the equation. And I am a feminist. I am a very proud feminist. Okay. And all I mean when I say that I am a feminist is that I truly believe in my heart of hearts that any woman can do anything any man can do. I truly believe that. And I also believe that while strong, brilliant women are out changing the world for the better, I'm going to sleep with all their boyfriends. And both of those things can be simultaneously true. Okay. And I don't want you to get the wrong idea about me either. Okay. I'm a very strong, independent woman myself, unless I need something repaired, opened, or there's a spider on it, in which case I'm extremely needy, but only in those 3 situations. I did mention my partner and I are polyamorous, and I know that's not even worth mentioning anymore because everyone has tried polyamory. But I don't think most people have tried polyamorous monogamy, which is when 2 people agree to pursue simultaneous intimate relationships and also agree that neither has that much time or ambition. And that's how we choose to live our lives. But shortly before, everyone decided to appropriate being introverted, I did go on a very promising date with a young man who tried to engage me in a conversation about his favorite classical composers, very intellectual discourse. And I asked the very reasonable question if Beethoven was the one who cut his ear off. And he was not, by the way. That would be Vincent van Gogh. I know that now. You're not special. My date was very quick to point it out. I was very quick to point out that both had hearing problems. My date was very quick to point out that one may have been a painter, which is fair. However, both are dead white men. So why do you think I care? Okay, like we could have just as well been discussing Thomas Jefferson or Justin Bieber. It makes no difference to me. The best part of that joke, by the way, is that I actually don't know if Justin Bieber is still alive or not, and I still don't care. So that makes the joke just fun. I hope I didn't break any hearts of any Justin Bieber fans. I assure you, Mr. Bieber is doing just fine. I have him on speed dial. We can call him late. No, we can't. He's blocked my number recently, but we'll be just fine. We'll be friends again in no time. My comedy, in case you haven't noticed, I'm all about bringing people together. That's my whole goal. That I just want people of every walk of life to be able to understand one another, share in our vulnerabilities, our faux pas, see our common humanity. And what really gave me this mission in my art was my older brother. My older brother is very conservative. And anytime I come up in conversation, he just tries to reassign me a new sexual identity. And for the last few years, his favorite go to has been, I don't think you're queer, Dahlia. I don't think you're queer. I think you're just a weird dude. Just a weird dude. And since I don't want to just dismiss my brother as an ignorant bigot, I prefer to think he's just a weird dude. So we have that in common still. And again, bringing it together in all things. Folks, you have been an absolute delight. And this has been a pleasure. I hope you have enjoyed yourselves as much as I have enjoyed myself. And I wish you all the most beautiful evening, the most beautiful pride. Commit crime, do gay things. Bye.
Thank you so much, Mix Dahlia. Belle, please feel free to plug any of your projects, your Instagram, whatever you'd like.
And I will. Please go ahead and follow me on Instagram at Mix Dahlia Belle. It's just like it looks on your screen, except with no spaces. Uh, I'm trying to get up to 10,000 followers by the end of the year. So if y'all could spread the word and help me on this, you'll be delightful. My Instagram presence, it's very sweet and wholesome. It's just nice little cute pictures of me doing cute things and giving you words of hope and encouragement for the long, long, long road ahead.
And now for our main comedian. They are a proud non-binary artist based in New York City. Originally from Texas, they moved to New York to explore their creative talents, and since then have worked with some of the top influencers in the industry. They pride themselves on being multidimensional with many skills under their belt. Their main canvas is performance art, which includes comedy, acting, drag, and music. They were recently named a finalist at Yas Fest, an LGBTQ comedy competition in New York. Their work is currently featured on Hunger Magazine, Teen Vogue, Redbull.com, BuzzFeed, and Afropunk, to name a few. They are dedicated to making work that unapologetically highlights the experience and nuances of queer people of color. Please welcome Kile Atwater.
That gently touches my soul. It cools the fire that burns in me, and I simply lose control. So just rain down on me. Let your love just fall and rain, just rain on me.
I'm sorry. Ooh, smoky. Child, I'm thinking I'm hopping into my OnlyFans live stream. I forgot I was performing for the University of Oregon. What's good? Hi. Welcome to my ghetto TED Talk. Yes, that is me on that screen. And I'm so excited to be with such an intellectually stimulated crowd. Performing in front of y'all makes me feel like I'm aligned with my life's purpose. Childhood me is looking at me now like, you really performing at colleges and looking like the baddest bitch. You really doing what you always dreamed of. Yes, that's how 12-year-old me talked. They played Nuck If You Buck by Crime Mob at my middle school dance. What do you expect? Whew. Okay, Kyle, let me get serious. Let me stay in the moment. Allow me to formally introduce myself. My name is Kyle. My pronouns are they, them. But if you are a dirty, white, racist, transphobic, homophobic, Oompa Loompa body, please do not refer to me. I'm from Houston, Texas. I'm what Meg Thee Stallion would call a non-binary H-Town hottie. And I'm gonna try my best to make y'all laugh, but also, I ain't got no health insurance. So this is low-key just some free therapy for me. It's either this or I watch Wendy Williams on an endless loop on YouTube, and her staffers don't upload the new episodes till 10 p.m. So here I am. Okay, so the first thing I want to share is my experiences with coming out. And coming out in America, I know there are some sad stories out there because growing up LGBTQ plus here is very traumatizing. Like the fact that we even still have to come out, baby, it's ghetto. The new coming out slogan should be, I'm gay, mind your business. But I'm gonna keep it real with y'all, and I'm gonna tell you my truth. I know some white gays would probably be like, I was listening to Madonna, and I was drinking a vodka soda, and that's how I knew I was a white gay. But no, honey, my coming out story is very, 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 very black, and it starts in my childhood. Y'all better get into it. I worked hard on this. I put music on this. Like, I need to see the heads moving. I need to see y'all vibing. Woo, child. I'm trying to set a vibe for the University of Oregon or whatever. So this is a photo of me and my mama headed to my brother's high school graduation in Saginaw, Michigan. Now listen, I don't care what hood y'all from. You ain't been to the hood until you've been to Saginaw, Michigan. The name of the city is literally a warning. Saginaw! Oh, I need to work on that joke. No, but my mom raised us as a single parent, and she really wanted the best for us. She got us a limo because she wanted us to experience what it would feel like to feel worthy, even if it was just for one day. And also, we was on food stamps. And she also got that limo because, let's keep it real, she wanted to stunt on my father. She knew he would be there. She was like, what's good? No, but my coming out story starts in my childhood with Trina. So when I was 11 or 12, my mom had a strict curfew enforced on the household. Lights out by 10 p.m. But in the words of my black mama, child, I thought I was grown, honey. I really did. I would stay up watching Cartoon Network. And while most boys my age were infatuated with a show called Dragon Ball Z, I was obsessed with a show called Sailor Moon. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. It was something about seeing those carefree, googly-eyed women destroying the patriarchy. It made me feel like I could do anything. I could do whatever. That is until I heard my black mama saying, Kyle Joseph Atwater, turn that off and go to bed. And I was like, are you the FBI? Speaking of the FBI, I know they are watching me through my iPhone. I know they really are. Okay. And I know they are in their government office, like, please give me someone else's case. Okay. I cannot keep looking at Kyle watch Dragon Ball recreations on Pornhub. Like, I really can't. Like, it is disgusting. But can we just take a moment to acknowledge how fine Goku actually is? Like, I feel like that's not really brought up enough in conversation. Honestly, he is fine though. But my coming out story would be nothing without my hometown, Houston, Texas. Okay, I want to see some hands. Have y'all heard of chopped and screw music? Raise your hand. Okay, how you say your name? I'm gonna skip that one. So, chopped and screw music is music that niggas in Houston would listen to when they was sipping on cocaine and riding dirty. But I used to have so much anxiety that this music used to help me go to sleep. And while I was channel surfing late at night, real bold, and listening to this music, I stumbled upon the most captivating programming my 12-year-old eyes had ever seen. BET Uncut. Woo, child! The first video I saw was hella problematic. It was called Tip Drill. And I just had multiple issues with it. Like, were the women being compensated fairly? Like, are they being respected for their talent? Imagine you spent 4 years on an education to learn dance at a private college, and now some director is telling you to shake it faster in a bubble bath. How would you feel? I just didn't get the appeal. But then the most incredible, life changing thing happened. The baddest appeared on my TV screen. Back to Trina. Now, to some people, mainly not people of color, this may seem silly, but y'all gotta understand. When I was in middle school, I was getting bullied every day for being too femme. I would be afraid to go to class because the kids would call me an F word when they saw me sashay to my seat as I entered the classroom. I was terrified of everything. And at 12 years old, I just wanted to hide. That is until I heard Trina. May I present to you one of her beautiful artistic works? Is that okay? I need a snap. It was something about hearing a sexually liberated female shaking up the patriarchy in hip hop with body positive lyrics and complete ownership of her sexuality. Honestly, y'all, these lyrics changed my life. Before, when I got bullied, I would be like, no, please don't hit me. Now I was like, wait, hold up, who you finna jump? Who you finna jump? You finna hit me? Oh, you wanna touch me? Okay, teacher, get him out my seat right now. I need him to get out my seat. Boy, get up and go pay for my lunch. Get out my face. Interestingly enough, I said that last line recently on a Tinder date. Rest in peace to him. The self-confidence I got from Sailor Moon and Trina made me want to get on stage and perform. So now that leads me to present day Kile. This is Kyle circa 2016 when I was trying to give fresh trade. I'm in New York trying to make something happen for myself. I got an agent and she keeps sending me out on auditions for mass presenting roles. And the same thing keeps happening. I just feel like I'm always being asked to suppress myself. Can anyone in this room tell me how I can portray the straight male father figure with 3 kids when I cannot stop listening to My Neck, My Back by Kaya? Anybody? After auditions, I started going to Sephora and trying on makeup. I started going to H&M and trying on dresses. And at first I was insecure about it, but then I realized it's my body and I can choose to express myself however I see fit. And if anybody has a problem with it, those are not the type of people I need in my life. Period. My mom saw photos of me like this on Instagram and she called me in a panic. Kyle, are you transitioning? Are you on hormones? On the news, I saw Malaysia Booker was murdered in Dallas, and I just want you to be safe. And I said, Mom, at the moment, I'm not transitioning. I'm not on hormones, but that can change. And I've now reached a point in my life where I'm like, what is the value of shame? What is the value of not loving who you are? And who gets to benefit when I can't see my worth? She said, okay, well, if you're gonna do it, you better come correct. You better make sure your outfits is popping. My mama said, you better get on stage and you better own it. You know what? I need to see photos of your makeup before you get on stage. I need to make sure you coming correct. The last thing my mama said was, Kyle, you better stunt on them like I stunted on your daddy at the graduation. Per. So, listen, y'all. The moral of the story is I ain't got nothing figured out. I really don't. I really don't. I'm a hot mess, baby. Yes, I am. Some days I wake up and I have no confidence. None. Zero. Zilch. But then I get up, I beat my face, and I listen to what's her name? I need y'all to say her name. Unmute yourself and say her name right now.
Trina.
Okay, period. All right. Thank you. So y'all listen, I gotta jump into my OnlyFans. Like I have a lot of stuff on my schedule, but I love y'all and thank you for allowing me the space to be my most authentic self. Bye.
Thank you so much, Kyle. We're now going to move into questions. So y'all ask away.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
So I know you talked about Sailor Moon and Trina, of course, but did you see anyone in media growing up that inspired you to be a comedian?
Well, there was no, I guess maybe like Ellen DeGeneres, even though now that's like, you can't really, I shouldn't say that. But I was inspired by like really raw, raunchy comedians. Like I loved Paul Mooney. I love Monique. I love comedians who were just like unapologetic and they talked about real things. Um, but yeah, it was hard because there was no like queer black comedians growing up at all. And yeah, I just had to step on in this with confidence, like, okay, I might be the only one that's like doing this, but she's a talented girl, so she can make it happen. Yeah. But so like Paul Mooney, Ellen DeGeneres, Loki, and Monique were like my main inspirations. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Hi. So what would you say is the most memorable moment of your career in performance so far?
Well, I performed at Stonewall. That was amazing for me because, you know, I understand the history of Stonewall and I love Marsha P. Johnson. You know, I'm obviously about that life, period. So it was amazing to be at Stonewall and I was performing in front of a Black, queer, and trans group. And so they really embraced me. That was a highlight. And then I don't I got into comedy because like I couldn't afford a therapist. So I there was a queer open mic group in Brooklyn and that's like really how I got my start with comedy. Like I would go there like after work and I would just like scream things into the air and they got it and they embraced it and they would encourage me to keep going. So I guess like Stonewall and then like my moments in Brooklyn when I was like frustrated about my job. Yeah, those are the highlights. And of course I've done like cool things like I've met celebrities and you know I've like been on productions, but like I'm more into like actually being able to speak to real people who understand me and make them laugh. Like that's what's in my heart. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Hello, I'm Janice. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. A question I have is, what other projects are you currently working on, like right now?
Well, right now I am working on turning my act into a variety show that includes music. So I do have some songs recorded and I'm trying to fit that into my act. And so I'm in the process of doing that right now. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I should not be belching when I'm speaking to the University of Oregon. How you doing? But I also am a business them. Like I have a job where I work at a center that celebrates and highlights people of color in their wellness journey. So my job is very grounded. And then I also act. I was on Pose. Um, and I'm just like out and about in Brooklyn, masks are off, finally, um, trying to get back to some type of normalcy. It's hard though.
I can ask a question. Kyle, I'm wondering what environment do you find yourself like coming up with your best material and like the jokes you love the most? What has to happen for you to get inspired?
Wow, that's a good question. It really depends. I feel like I love being around nature. Like I always write when I'm like in the park or outside on the beach or anything nature related. I get really inspired by. So my best material comes from like me being out in nature in the trees, also just walking through the street. I can see something funny on the street and then I'll jot it down, then I'll perform it at an open mic and then everybody will laugh. And also you don't really know what your best material is until you like work it out in the clubs. Like that's the key thing. Like you have to write your jokes down and you have to work them out. You have to see what people are feeling, what they're not feeling. So it's a process, but simply when I'm outside is when I get my best material. Like when I'm outside at the park chilling. Yeah.
And I have a second question. So how has comedy allowed you to just express and experience happiness and love in your life? Like, how would you say it's influenced that?
Oh my God. It's been a total game changer. Like when I started doing stand up, it was around like 2018. Like I mentioned in my act, I was just trying to act and my agent was like sending me out on all these broy like gigs and she made me take these like broy pictures with my beard out and I was just like ew, like I don't want to like be trying to be a football player every day or like trying to be like some stud, like it's so fake, like no, I don't want to do that. So it came to a breaking point where it was like if I don't start developing my own material and trying things out and bringing my authentic voice to my work, then I would lose my mind. So it's just like I had to do it. Like it wasn't it came it wasn't an option anymore. Like I had to just start being bold and I had to overcome a lot of fears. Like I had stage fright and also like I was very insecure about my gender identity back then and comedy like uh, it helped me like come into myself, like it helped me to see okay there's other people who get it, like there's other people who understand me. So yeah, I hope that kind of answers your question. I feel like I just like went off.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you so much.
Well, to some degree, that answered what was my last question, which was just wondering how comedy has influenced your identity development. But you did kind of touch on that. If there's anything more you'd like to say, you're more than welcome to before I ask a last question.
Well, it definitely like the things I tried to hide about myself before, like there was no hiding it at all in comedy, none. Like if I wanted people to laugh and relate to me, like I had to be honest, and that's when I started really like playing with my gender expression on stage because I was like wow, like I don't have to mess with gender binaries anymore. Like that doesn't have to be a thing because it's me. Like it's my voice, it's my act. Like nobody's telling me, no, don't do this. Like I have complete control. So like the aspects of myself that are fem queen, I can show it. I can show the beauty and what it means to be queer, what it means to be black. I can show that authentically. I can speak from my truth and my personal experiences. So yeah, comedy actually helped me out a lot. I mean, like I said, I did not have therapy before, so yeah, I have a therapist now though. I do have a therapist, and they love that I do stand up. So per.
Well, thank you so much, Kyle. Before we all take off for the evening, I know you mentioned some of your current projects, but where can people find you? Please plug everything.
Yeah, so I do have an official website. So you can go to kileatwater.com. That's KILEATWATER.com. I also have a newsletter called African Ameriqueer, where I discuss my experiences being Black and queer in America. So you can subscribe at kyle.substack.com. And check me out, y'all. I'm gonna be in these streets. I got some projects coming out. I can't even talk about some stuff I'm working on, like, but it's coming though. Follow me on Instagram too, at Kyle Atwater. Yep.